So remember in our meeting today, we ended chapter 17, I believe. Yeah, chapter 17. So there was a horrible creaking noise as a stout Roman spear began to split in two. So remember the hiccup was inside the dragon's mouth and he's hanging from a spear. So there's a creaking noise which suggests it's maybe about to break. Let's find out. And that would have been the end of Hiccup if it had not been for the extraordinary bravery of a certain Toothless Daydream. Toothless, if you remember, had refused to join in the battle at Death's Headland. He was intending to fly off somewhere down the coast for a bit and lie low until everything was safe again. But he stayed at the highest point for a while, terrorizing birds and rabbits. He must have been having a lovely time because he did not hear the approach of Stoik and the entire tribes of Hooligan and Meathead until Stoik grabbed him around the neck. "Where is my son?" asked Stoik. Toothless shrugged his shoulders, but quite rudely. "Where is my son?" bawled Stoik with an awe-inspiring yell that was so loud that Toothless' ears began to shake. Toothless pointed to Death's Headland. "Show me!" Under Stoik's fierce eyes, Toothless reluctantly flapped off towards Death's Headland, and he was followed by both of the tribes. They arrived just in time to see the terrible monster throw Hiccup high up in the air and catch him in his mouth like a whelk. So much for the fiendishly clever plan, thought Toothless. He was about to use the opportunity of Stoik's obvious distraction to sneak off to a place of safety. All of a sudden, something stopped him. Nobody knows what that something was. It was a moment which changed the whole world view of the Hooligan tribe. For hundreds of years, we had believed it was impossible for dragons to consider a selfless thought or a generous action. But what Toothless did next is impossible to explain, as being in his own best interest at the time. All his fellow domestic dragons were now flying somewhere over the inner ocean. As soon as they heard Fireworm's cry of "Desert!" those who were hiding in caves or between crevices or crouched in their ferns rose up in a great swarm, and they all abandoned their former masters as fast as their wings could carry them. The wild dragons from Wild Dragon Cliff had left hours ago, but something kept Toothless from flying after them. Maybe it was Stoik's heart-rendingly powerless cry of "No!" that caused him to pause. Or maybe somewhere in the self-centered green dragon heart of his, he really was quite fond of Hiccup by now, and he was grateful for all the hours he'd spent looking after him, not shouting at him, telling him jokes, and giving him the biggest and juiciest lobsters. "Dragons are shellfish," argued Toothless to himself. "Dragons are heartless and have no mercy. That's what makes us survivors." Nonetheless, something made him turn right around, and something made him fold his wings back and fly like a dragon blur to the great monsters on the cliff tops, which really was not in Toothless' best interest. It was dangerous up there, but he went anyway. This is not like dragons. The sea dragon lunged up and down, wrinkling his nose like a crazy and bellowing "Ah!" The creature stuck his great talon up his nose in a disgusting fashion and tried to wrinkle out a tickling flea that was irritating him right inside his nose. Toothless didn't quite get out of the way of the talon in time, and it scratched him on the chest. He hardly felt it though, because he was so excited, and he carried on tickling regardless, dodging the probing dragon claw. "Ah!" bellowed the sea dragon. Meanwhile, Hiccup was being thrown this way and that way inside the dragon's throat as it shook its head from side to side. He was trying desperately to hang on to that spear, which was in danger of becoming dislodged or breaking any second now. Shrew! The dragon finally sneezed, and Hiccup, the spear, Toothless, and a great deal of perfectly revolting snot scattered all over the countryside. Stoik came I've completely lost my place, so let me try again. Toothless remembered as he was shooting through the air that boys, they can't fly. He folded his wings and he dived after Hiccup, who was rapidly heading towards the ground. So here's Hiccup shooting out from the dragon's nose. Choo-choo! And he's flying through the air. So Toothless sees he can't fly, this will end badly. What can Toothless do? He grabbed hold of Hiccup by the arm and tried to take his weight. Dragon's talons are extraordinarily strong, and he was able to break Hiccup's fall. Not entirely, but enough so that when Hiccup crashed into the heather, he was travelling reasonably slow. Stoik came plunging frantically through the grass. He picked up his son and he faced the monster, holding his shield over Hiccup's unconscious body to protect him. Toothless hid behind Stoik. The Green Death had recovered from his sneezing fit. He shuffled forwards, bleeding horribly from fatal wounds to his chest and his throat. He lowered his terrible head until it was on a level with the cliff top. And his evil yellow eyes looked straight at Stoik, and he said, "You'll find out next time."